Well, bowling fans, we're here today. AMF Bowlero is the site. First time on board for us for the Junior Hall of Fame tournament. A great tournament run by Shannon Lubinsky. She gets help from a lot of her family and friends to put on this great event. 88 teams total for this tournament this year. 66 in the handicap division, 22 in the first-year scratch division, and we'll have the top 4 teams from the scratch division in the finals. And between the adults and the youth bowlers, there's going to be some great bowling on TV today, Joey.
Without question. There's a strong field, and Shannon has done a great job, and this is by far the premier scholarship tournament in our area.
Yeah. Great host with Roy Brent at AMF Bowlero to help put this on. Shannon and her staff and her family, great to keep the tournament going all day. And, of course, Don Hildebrandt was our master of ceremonies all day. Enjoyed having him around. We're going to come back from AMF Bowlero with our opening match in just a moment. Make sure you stay tuned for some great bowling with youth and adult bowlers teamed up to win some scholarship money for the kids. I have a lot of viewers that ask me, why do you have so many of your tournaments at Castle Lanes? Well, Castle Lanes is a center that has an exceptional atmosphere. The charm of being in the Northwoods cabin while you bowl, an attentive staff on the lanes and in the lounge, all the big screen TVs and a free Wi-Fi hotspot, and being named in Bowler's Journal as one of the 95 places to bowl before you die, you have to bowl at Castle Lanes. That's why we love Castle Lanes, and you will too.
Hi, I'm Jerry from FM Auto. Is your car ready for winter? Bring your vehicle in for a free diagnostics check before winter hits. Set up your appointment today at 414-455-8750. You won't be disappointed.
Another New Year's Day, another big bowling game, this year at Sunset Bowl in Wauwatosa. Come enjoy a little bit of Milwaukee's bowling history while helping out kids at the Royal Family Kids Camp in Heartland. For more information about this great New Year's Day event, call Sunset Bowl at 262-542-9191 or go to facebook.com/bigbowlinggame. Opening match here at the Junior Hall of Fame tournament at AMF Bowlero. Two very strong teams here, Joey. We got Nathan Michalowski leading us off for his team.
Yeah, and Nathan, recent winner of a big tournament.
Yeah, won the 2013 Tri-City Milwaukee Open. That was worth a $1,000 paycheck to him, and now nothing out there for the adults today. They're helping the kids win scholarship money with a $500 first place prize for each team and a little bit of a almost light 710 there.
Yeah, and Nathan, the contemporary stylist, used to bowl in our sport league many years ago, and now we'll see the big un.
Mike Nape out of Blue Island, Illinois, and powers it up, and you can see right there why he's second all-time at the USBC National Championships in average. So just recently lost that lead to Gail Myers Jr. out of Monroe.
Yeah, Gail Myers, and I'm surprised Mike Shady's not leading because he's never shot under 1900. But
I know he's very close, and I know he's got to get his 20 years in pretty soon. You have to have 20 years to be on the lifetime list. So Billy Hibbert, we saw him recently in our U Challenge Series FM Auto Mixed Doubles at Motion Plus Lanes in Cudahy.
Ralph and Danielle's loving son, and he strikes.
Good start for that team with a spare and a strike on the board. And now the first of the two-handers on Team Nape. We got Sam Kivamaki out of Sussex, 16 years old. His first appearance on our Youth Challenge Series telecast. Favorite bowler for some reason, Oscar Palermo, and you can see why right here. Two-hander playing a very tight line, and he gets the 710 out.
And that is why today's youth is playing two-handed and thumbless. Instead of a tap or a 710, they have a strike.
Yeah, head pin goes to the sideboard, comes all the way back across, and manages to take out the 10 pin. And another power player here, one-handed though, with Matt Bailing out of Franklin.
Definitely rips it at the bottom. Good heavy roll. Carries that 10 off the wall. We're going to see a lot of strikes today, Phil.
Yeah.
And can you tell us what kind of pattern they're in?
Oh, they modified the AMF Bowlero house pattern a little bit. They took a little bit of oil out of the middle of the pattern, so you will see the bowlers make moves relatively quickly. but they don't have a heck of a lot of room for error out there. They have to make good shots, not great shots. And you can see right there by Brent Boho, the ball will get down the lane without too much of a problem, but if you pull it left, it doesn't get held in the pocket.
No, it held on the nose is what it did, and a familiar name to bowling circles in the Milwaukee area. I used to bowl with a John Boho.
Yeah.
Was a pro shop operator many years back.
Yeah, no relation with Brent here, but John's still in the area. I know he does some stuff at Wheel and Sprocket up on the north side of Milwaukee and in Mequon. Nice run at that 3.6710 by Brent there, but
yes, John does, and I recently purchased a bicycle helmet from them, and John, a longtime friend and good bowler in his day.
yes, indeed. Well, let's see what Nathan can do here to get his team out to a bigger lead, working on a team double. Looking for that 3 in a row.
Very steady head, better result from opening shot.
And now you can see why Nathan's got a lot of experience on the PBA Regional Tour, and he's got a couple of titles under his belt. Does a lot of his bowling out in Burlington at Town and Country Lanes. Mike Nate, Fox Bowl, I know he helps out the pro shop there, does a lot of coaching, works with a lot of youth, and he wanted to thank Shannon Lubinsky for giving him the opportunity to give back to the youth bowlers with this great event.
Yeah, very solid at the line and great hand action.
Great shot to get us into the commercial break for this match. Join us for the rest of our opening match from the 2013 Junior Hall of Fame from AMF Bowlero in just a moment. Another New Year's Day, another big bowling game, this year at Sunset Bowl in Waukesha. Come enjoy a little bit of Milwaukee's bowling history while helping out kids at the Royal Family Kids Camp in Heartland. For more information about this great New Year's Day event, call Sunset Bowl at 262-542-9191 or go to facebook.com/bigbowlinggame. Nice crowd today here watching the finals of the Junior Hall of Fame tournament at AMF Bowlero. You can see some of the tournament staff in the green shirts back there. And just caught a glimpse right there of Danielle Hibbert, Billy's mom.
Yeah, Shannon Lubinsky doing a wonderful job again. How many years has this tournament been in existence?
This is the 7th year, and I know they've given out a ton of scholarship money. Today, each of these bowlers in the scratch division is going to receive, I believe, $650 for first place. A little bit of a weak 10 there for Billy. Ball just didn't quite finish hard enough.
He had some good pin action there, but not from the 6-pin.
Love this new camera angle. You get to see the bowlers from the front. Get to see how smooth those heads stay as they get up to the foul line, and just like landing in an airplane, Joey.
Well, ideally we want our heads to start in a higher position and end up in a lower position as you get closer to that foul line, and the less bobbing up and down, the better.
Sam Kivamaki out of Sussex struck on his first attempt in the second frame. Long and low with that two-handed release and 10 straight back.
Yeah, and we saw his opening shot with the Messenger 710, and that went dead flush. And revolutions can equate to strikes.
Absolutely. You can see it's more of an end over end. You don't see too much of a way of spinny releases out of the two-handers nowadays. They really stay underneath the ball and get up and through it and get that nice hard forward roll. That's where they get that strong finish on the back end. And speaking of that, Matt's doing well
there. And you notice Matt's technique when he starts, he kind of lets that thumb come out of the ball before he takes his first step, a la Wes Malott.
Yes, indeed. Wes had a pretty good start to the PBA World Series of Bowling by winning that Cheetah Championship.
And Wes will be our guest at our 6th annual Storm Clinic that we're running early December. The show will be viewed afterwards, I believe. But
yeah, Wes always is nice enough to hang around and watch the bowlers, give little tips, and an occasional autograph or two I think gets snuck out there as well. Nathan, nice shot last frame. Had his team working at a team 3-bagger, now looking to get a team double here and extend the lead. 6 steps to the line, real fluid on that release, and wraps the 10.
And nothing muscled with Nate's game, and I mean he was good 5-10 years ago, and his game is just getting to elite status where he's not grabby at the bottom, and that takes years to develop.
Yeah, he's one of the best players in the area that I think a lot of other bowlers or bowling fans haven't heard about. The area he bowls in, he bowls out in Burlington. He doesn't really bowl a lot in the Metro Milwaukee area anymore. He hasn't quite broken through on the PBA Regional Tour. He's had some pretty good cashes, but I think he's going to make himself a name out there in the Regional Tour, kind of like Chris Hill is another person from the area.
Oh, yeah. And
bowls a lot of regionals, but just hasn't quite broken through yet.
Right, and both those players are not afraid to put the time and effort into it, Phil.
Mike Napier, 13 PBA regional titles, a PBA National Pro title, and championship back in the early 2000s, and of course, part of the 2008 Team All Events champions at the USBC Championships. So,
right, and Mike using a Track 400A, a new product from Track Bowling, designed for dry lane conditions, and with his hand action, he doesn't normally need too much help from the ball.
And Billy Hibbard gets that 10 pin out that time, keeps his team just in the match. Only down right now by 5 pins, but first team to blink here pretty much could find themselves out of it. Let's see what Sam can do here. Sam 2 for 2 so far. Look at how that's set up, Joey. Look at how he cups his hand under the ball like you used to see the power players back in the 80s and 90s.
But nice and soft through the bottom. Even with all those revs, he just lets his hand and lane and the ball do a lot of the work.
Leaves that wrap 10 pin. You can see already no question about switching to that polyester ball. With his rev rate, he's going to make sure that he takes the hook out of the lane.
Well, let's see if he uses the thumb as his idol Asku does, and I believe he stayed thumbless there.
Yep, stays two-handed with his spares. Asku we've seen also about 35 miles an hour on those single pin spares.
Yeah, about 2.5 times our speed.
Exactly. Yeah, he's done some damage on some 10 pins in his day, no doubt about that.
Now Matt, 17 years of age, bowling for Franklin High School. High game, 290 twice, and a high set of 760. It's just a matter of time before he fires his first 800.
No doubt, and first 300 too. You can see right there, 3 for 3 for strikes this game. And that's what you're looking for in a 3-man Baker match. You're looking for that 3rd, 6th, and 9th frame bowler to set up the bowler in the 10th frame, especially now with the adults bowling the 10th frame.
Well, you would assume the adults are going to strike when needed. And a better shot, but still came in a little deep. I think Brent is as comfortable as he wants to be today.
No, you can see he's been left on his shots, and now with that one right there, lucky to take the 10 pin out late and just leave that 4-7. Spare here is huge to keep his team in the match, especially with Team Michalowski working on a double getting into the 10th frame, and Nathan can just shut out the other team with his first strike in the 10th.
Job well done. Cross lane.
Oh. 8-pin lead for Team Michalowski going into the 10th frame.
They can shut them out if he carries the first or the first two.
Carries the first one for sure. It's a shutout with a good count on the second ball. He would need at least an 8 count on the second ball to shut out. And that's got problems, and wow. 4 out the middle, Joey. You don't see that very often.
No, and it didn't look as though he pulled it. It almost looked as though he may have gotten a touch soft and maybe fed the ball a little right into the friction. And I think he was kind of surprised by that back-end reaction he saw.
Yeah, and that count is huge because now it goes from forcing Team Nape, Mike Nape, to get a double in the 10th frame. It could force him, without a conversion here, Michael Nape to just get a spare in the 10th frame or strike in order to win. See what Nathan can do here. Best thing to do is get 4 and get out of the way. And you don't see 5 out too often on that. That's a good attempt.
You can't throw it much better at that split. And just untimely error, basically, in the 10th frame for Nate.
Yeah, and the count there was huge, though. Getting 5 on that spare, it's going to force Michael Nape here to get a mark in the 10th frame. If Michael were to go 9 miss, it would be 210. So any mark here for Michael Nape, and his team will advance to the semifinal match against Team Joe Olivo.
Well, Biggin is used to these pressure situations and throws it nice and aggressively. And he's got the 9.
Almost got the pin to sneak the 4 pin out from behind. Now you'll see him probably stick with his strike ball. Yeah, he's just going to go back to the little rosin on his fingers, make sure he's got a nice dry-handed release. And
that could have been a 4-9, Phil.
Yeah, easily. Something came back across the deck and got that 9 out of the way. You got to figure it's got to be a little more pressure on these adult bowlers because they know they're bowling just for the kids today. You know, you got those 2 teammates that are hanging on your every move on the lanes. No problem picking that one up for Michael Nape.
And you notice he went direct at it pretty much over the 4th arrow instead of going cross lane. And most top level players will throw left-handed spares, meaning 4 pins and 7 pins, from the left side of the lane. And that's an acquired technique.
Yeah, it is. And you can see Nathan Michalowski back there just kind of kicking himself going, oh, if I could just change one thing on that shot in the 10th frame and give my teammates a chance here. Great finish by Big Un to get that shot for a 220 to 211 victory. Team Nape advances to take on Team Olivo in the semifinal match here for the 2013 Junior Hall of Fame. Join us in just a moment from AMF Bowlero for that semifinal match. Barbiere's Italian Inn, featured in onmilwaukee.com's In Search of the Perfect Pizza in January 2013. Near Miller Park on Bluemont Road and on Milwaukee Avenue in South Milwaukee. Providing premier equipment sales and services to Wisconsin bowlers since 1973. Check out our Wall of Fame and our current specials at bpsmilwaukee.com. The 2013 Junior Hall of Fame also had a handicap division with 66 teams of 2 youth bowlers paired up with an adult bowler. With the handicapping system in place for the youth bowlers, competition was close all day. All 66 teams were able to participate in 3 regular team games and 2 Baker games before cutting down each round to the stepladder finals. Here are your top 4 finishers from the handicap division of the Junior Hall of Fame tournament. To get full results from both the handicap and scratch divisions, along with 2014 Junior Hall of Fame tournament information, go to jhoft.weebly.com. Semi-final match from AMF Bowlero, the 2013 Junior Hall of Fame tournament. And Joey, Team Olivo coming on after their practice decided they liked lane 22 here. They moved Team Nape over to lane 21.
And not a bad move, because you might as well make your opponents bowl on a lane they are less familiar with. But the big one here, inside, swinging it outside, getting it to come back, it may not matter.
Nice shot there by Michael Nape, getting his team started with a strike. I want to thank Eileen's Bowling Buddy for their sponsorship of this event and all of our Youth Challenge Series events this season. And now Joe Olivo saw him on this tournament last year on the winning team, obviously this year with a couple different bowlers, as the bowlers are assigned by random to their adult partners through a drawing prior to the tournament.
The timeless wonder, Joey Olivo, learned everything from Marty.
Yes, indeed. And Joe Olivo led his team last year at the Action Heating and Cooling Team Shootout to victory with 2 strikes in the 10th frame at Motion Plus Lanes. Great tournament, and we're going to have another fun one this year at the 6th edition of that. Check out the Motion Plus Lanes website for your tournament dates and information. Brent Boho looking to get back on the strike train. Didn't have any last match, and no success so far in game 2.
No, again, not quite lined up yet, and I mean, he could possibly play where his teammate Mike is playing by moving a little further left with his feet, but I'm sure Brent knows his game.
Yeah, now Brent and Sam were allowed to change after a game is done where they were in the lineup, so Brent struggling a little bit, moved himself into the number 2 spot, and you'll see Sam Kivamaki in the number 3 spot. Nice cover there by Brent. And now Chad Dembski up for Team Olivo.
First look at Chad, age 15 years, lives in Marshall, Wisconsin, bowls at Prairie Lanes.
Huge youth program out of Prairie Lanes. John and Shar Brunig run that great program out there, and ooh, almost a stone 7 there.
Would have been a stone 7.
Lucky enough to carry that 7-pin out on a high flush hit, as you see on the replay here. Head pin kind of misses it, but the 4-pin actually got it going by there, Joey.
So when you get a shot like that and a pin reaction like we just saw, is that time to move in?
It's time to move in. It was probably time to move in before he threw that shot.
Now that's providing you hit your intended target.
Exactly, with the right speed and everything. And boy, Sam is just locked in. Doesn't matter what lane he's bowling on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I like Sam's game. He's smooth and steady, and definitely knows how to play the lanes properly. He may be better than Oscar.
Eventually down the road, if he can keep that looseness in his swing, and you can see he's real fluid. Some of the two-handers you see out there get a little herky-jerky, but Sam is able to stay fluid all the way through. We got Tyler Sheehy here. I believe he's out of Sun Prairie, Joey.
Out of Sun Prairie, also 15 years of age, and he gets those pins dancing.
No doubt. That head pin did about 3 pirouettes on the way back across. I want to thank the Wagner family at Trophy Athletic for all their help with awards during our events. You know they're going to help us out a great deal with our Midwinter High School Team Classic down at Castle Lanes in Racine on New Year's Eve. If you want to see some of the best high school bowling in the area that day, make sure you come on down to Castle Lanes. If you've never been there before, check it out. It is a gorgeous bowling center. One of the 95 places to bowl before you die, according to Bowlers Journal International. Wow, just splits that 8-9.
Yeah, and Mike's used to those, so he's not going to get too excited with that. And he knows every frame very, very important, because they were fortunate enough to advance by just one errant shot from their opponent's first match.
Yeah, if Joe Leva can strike right here, he can get his team back up by 20 pins going into the commercial break for this game. Very conventional style. You'll see that little shuffle with his feet to get started. 4 to the line. And no problem with 10 back there.
And you'll notice Joe's head through that entire approach and release. Steady Eddie. No movement whatsoever.
We're going to stay steady through a commercial break. Join us from AMF Bowlero in just a moment. Halfway through, well, not quite halfway through our semifinal match here at AMF Bowlero for the 2013 Junior Hall of Fame tournament. Team Olivo, 20-pin lead over Team Nape early, but as we all know, one spare and a bunch of a string of strikes can take that lead away. Brent Boho looking to get himself a strikeout here in lane 21.
Right, and Team Nape is going to have to start stringing strikes on their own, and there's one to get it going.
How about that? Headpin was just bouncing, dancing around. Looked like it was actually going to go over the top of that 7-pin for a second.
And they needed that. I mean, it's easy to say it's only middle of the match, but when your opponents have the front 4, you better start.
Yeah, no misses on the board for Team Olivo so far, and Chad Dembski looking in the 5th frame to make it a handful of strikes for his team. Straps it up on the bottom and 10 back.
Yeah, Chad knows how to get it done, and he wants to thank his dad for being his main supporter.
Great shot there. You can see he's talking to his teammate Tyler back there, letting him know what happened on that shot. And that's the key to good team bowling is you got to have communication between the team members. And these adults today were really keen on making sure the bowlers knew what was going on the lanes, helping them, guiding them. Whether it was these teams that made TV or any of the other teams that participated today. 88 teams overall for the Junior Hall of Fame tournament. And Sam's not going to get a break today.
No, well, no, and we saw one messenger 7-10 carry earlier in the first match, and they still carry more of those percentage-wise than a one-hander.
The headpin comes back in front and just rocks and rolls those GLB1 pins, courtesy of Great Lakes Bowling.
Another 1/4 inch might have got it done.
And not to put the flying jinx out there on Team Olivo, but a 300 game on TV is $300 awarded by Great Lakes Bowling.
You had to say something, didn't you?
Well,
so
the youth bowlers had split it because of the format of this tournament. The adult bowlers are not allowed by rule to earn any type of cash or prizes, so the youth bowlers would end up splitting that $300, and Tyler Sheehy can help contribute to his cause here. Looking for that team half a dozen.
Tyler wants to give a shout out to John and Cher Brunig for all their coaching assistance over the years.
Yeah, great youth program out of Prairie Lanes. Great high school bowling program they have in Sun Prairie as well. They've won a couple of state championships on the boys and girls side. And yeah, unfortunately, I threw the jinx out there on him on the 300 game, and a little light leaving at 2/8.
Yeah, and no gimme on this pattern, as you know. You need to get it hooking into the 2/8, minimal deflection.
So best way to shoot at this probably is just going to move his feet a little bit to the right, use around that same strike target area, and let the ball hook in and take both pins out.
About a 3-board move with your feet, you would say?
And this pattern, yeah, I'd say no more than 3 boards, and he covers it up nicely. And some house patterns, I know I can make a 4 or 5 board move to get through that puddle in the middle.
Well, pattern length and I would think pattern volume in the middle would affect how many boards you want to move it. But it's not always a set 3 boards or 4 boards. You have to read it per pattern.
Yeah, it's always a good thing to do during your warm-ups, during practice. Don't always just shoot at strike shots. Take a shot at a cross-lane spare, just to see what your ball's going to do later on. Michael Napier looking to keep his team in the match.
I believe he struck all but 1 shot.
So far, that would be correct. Nice out of his hand, and that 4-pin had no chance to stand there.
That's why he's striking so much, is because he gets such crazy pin action. So I can see why he's second, you said, in
second
all-time leader average at the National USBC Open Championship.
Yeah, I believe he's over 219, and that's with sport-compliant conditions every year.
Right, but you need to be a very, very good spare shooter as well.
To average that much. Yeah.
Watch how steady.
Nice out of his hand, but that's treble, Joey.
Yeah,
and
you could see that off the hand. It was going to come high. And was that targeting, or did he possibly drift a little right with his feet and just kind of started it up at the head pin a little bit?
Yeah, I think exactly it. I think he tried to fit that one a hair.
Yeah, a little bit. And he knows. I mean, we don't throw perfect shots every time, and the key for top-level players is to recognize what they did wrong, and I'm sure Joey does.
Yeah, and that little extra pressure that these adult bowlers have out there today, bowling with the kids. They know these kids, every match they win is a little more scholarship money to help them eventually get through college. So Brent Boho finished last year 2nd place at the Wisconsin State Pepsi Tournament up in Green Bay. That needs to hold on. Wow. And I really thought that was going to get a little more towards the head pin.
Yeah, well, you got it in the pocket. But again, sometimes, you move your feet, you move your target, and the ball's just not giving you the visual you want to see. You should switch balls.
Yeah, that one right there, a lot of deflection away from that 5-pin.
All right, and for his rev rate, you really shouldn't see deflection.
So hopefully there's no problem shooting at the 5-pin here. Down the middle of the lane, no problem covering it up. Well, keeps his team close, down by less than a mark, with 2.5 frames to go.
Yeah, so both matches so far going down to the final frames.
Yeah, always close competition all day here. Team that just missed the show in 5th place with adult captain Jamie Cullen and Savannah Giroux, who you've seen in a couple of our Youth Challenge telecasts this year. It would be nice to see a all-ladies team on there that they just missed out. And a nice shot there by Chad Dembski to get his team, keep his team in the lead, pardon me. Scrambles that rack. That would be the Ted Grabowski there with the 4, 5, and 7 going to the left.
In fact, just saw Ted not long ago. Last week he was here at the pro shop and looking good, bowling well.
Speaking of bowling well, can I draft Sam for my bowling team when he gets out of youth leagues?
Sam has the visual he wants to see, and whenever you get that, it does loosen up your swing. And I believe he's using a Roto Grip Wrecker, which is a hybrid ball, mid-price ball, but it really does go through the pins nicely.
Well, Sam Kivamaki has his team set up for the 10th frame. Now it's up to Tyler Sheehy here. Comes through the ball nicely and slaps the 10.
I see a little Ryan Zager in his game with his follow-through and leg extension.
So a little quicker getting in the line than Ryan, though. Ryan's slow and deliberate. Tyler really gets his momentum going up there to get the ball speed, and 6 just kind of gets the bottom of that 10 out. He knows he's throwing a good shot. You see that reaction? Just that little fist pump, all you need. Well, Michael Napier knows what he needs, and that's basically go off the sheet and put pressure on Joe Olivo. His team down right now by 16 pins. His team could strike out right now for a 239, however. Looks good out of his hand. Just didn't quite finish hard enough.
Yeah, one of his rare taps, but luckily they got the 7 out, but it's going to make it a little easier for Joey's team.
Yeah, spare here and a strike by Mike Nape would be 219. And that would force Joe Olivo to just get really good count on the first ball in the 10th frame to advance to that championship match against the team captained by Scott Erickson out of Madison. No doubt Mike Nape was going to cover that one up.
And so count here is important.
Very important. Yeah, strike here would force Joe Oliva to get at least 9 on the first ball in order to win. Anything less than 9 could be interesting for Team Oliva.
Well, their team has had a couple 8 counts, so anything is possible. But
and Joe's last frame, he went through the nose and left that 4-6. So
yes, he did. So I'm sure he's giving that some thought right now, what his adjustment will be. And Mike carries the ripper fill shot.
219 for Team Nape. That's going to force Joe Oliva, if he gets 9 on that first ball, that would get his team out there 223. So
8 and missing is a win.
Would still be enough.
He wants an 8 count or higher. And he read up high again, and now he's got some work to do here.
Let's take a look at the scoreboard here. 7 and 2 would be 220. 7 and 1 would actually be a loss at 218, because every pin gets you 2 when you're working on a strike, and you can see the whole all teams checking the scoreboard. Yeah.
But luckily, you know, the 4-7 reasonably easy to convert the 2.
Yeah, not too often a righty would chop the 4 off the 7.
Right, and I've done it, and I'm sure others have as well, but he's using his hooking ball, or storm sink, and just enough, and game, set, match. 1
pin victory to get into the championship match. Team Olivo, that 220 to 219 victory. They're going to face Team Erickson in the 2013 Junior Hall of Fame Finals. We'll be back with that matchup, AMF Bowlero, in just a moment. Make sure you stay tuned. Another New Year's Day, another big bowling game, this year at Sunset Bowl in Wauwatosa. Come enjoy a little bit of Milwaukee's bowling history while helping out kids at the Royal Family Kids Camp in Heartland. For more information about this great New Year's Day event, call Sunset Bowl at 262-542-9191 or go to facebook.com/bigbowlinggame. This season's 3rd Top Gun Sweeper was held on December 1st at Motion Plus Lanes in Cudahy. Dave Levinsky, recent winner of the Action Heating and Cooling Shootout, had 2 279 games in qualifying, while having the front 9 in the semifinals before leaving this 10-pin and shooting 267 to advance to the championship match. However, in the championship match, Dave lost his look on lane 14 while taking on top seed Jim Nanaman, who followed up his 781 series in qualifying with 5 in a row from the 3rd through 8th frames of the final match to win 235 to 206 and take home the top prize in Top Gun Sweeper number 3. Jim Nanaman is now the 3rd automatic qualifier for the Top Gun Grand Finals TV taping on March 30th. Your next chance to qualify for the Top Gun Grand Finals is Sunday, January 5th at Castle Lanes in Racine. Check your local bowling center for entry blanks or go to facebook.com/TopGunSweepers for all the tournament information. Here we go, final match, 2013 Junior Hall of Fame. Team Erickson versus Team Olivo for all the scholarship money for the kids. $650 for each kid for first place prize. And Scott Erickson out of Madison leading us off, Joey.
So is that a Gold Rhino Pro or is that a Storm IQ Tour Pearl?
No, that would be the Storm IQ Tour Pearl. And once again, almost another Pocket 710 on lane 21.
That's almost 3 Pocket 710s we've seen on the opening shot, which is interesting.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, watch that ball come up. And
a lot of deflection, and I don't think Scott's used to or wanted to see that.
No doubt. Team Erickson led qualifying all day through every round, through the semifinals with Baker games, and now looking to wrap it up and get the championship match taken care of. Well, interesting. After the practice that Team Erickson received, they left Team Olivo on lane 22, where They just shot 220, but Joe struggled his last 2 shots
Well,
on that lane.
that could be why they left them there. But, you know, Joey's been around the block a few times. He's going to move eventually, and my guess is now.
Yeah, he's definitely left to where he was. You can see there.
He moved in, and that could be why he was hesitant to move in too quickly or too much, because that ball kind of placked upon impact. And that can happen in today's game. You make the adjustment you should make, and then the ball we see deflecting upon impact.
Yeah, almost right through the 9-pin spot is where that ball ended up at the back of the pin deck. Switches to that polyester ball to cover up that 10-pin. No problem there.
And again, when the patterns aren't evenly oiled gutter to gutter, which means across the lane, heavy concentrations can be in the middle, and you'll get the skid part, but you won't get the back end reaction you're looking for.
Tyler Kurz out of Streamwood, Illinois. Second bowler for Team Erickson. 15 years old. Nice high backswing. Comes through on the bottom and scrambles it up.
Nice high backswing, but a nice follow through with his elbow tucked in tight and close to the body. Follow through in front of the face. That is part of the modern day game that we're seeing more and more of, Phil.
Especially out of the youth bowlers. The amount of coaching that these bowlers are getting nowadays at the youth level in leagues and from high school and college programs.
Right, and it's easier for the kids to keep that arm swing tight and close and keep that elbow under the hand through the release and follow through in front of the face, where our bodies are too wide. It makes it a little more challenging for us.
Yes, indeed, especially as we age as we have.
Well, we age, we get stiffer, we get less pliable in certain areas. And
more pliable in others,
yeah,
yes.
That's true. We won't talk about that. But now, Brandon Biondo, any relation?
Vince and Joey's son. We've seen him a couple of times in the past in our Youth Challenge Series telecasts. And he gave that one a little too much extra to start with, no doubt.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of hand, and again, he's got the pedigree to get the job done, so he'll make an adjustment off of that shot.
So, he's won a couple of our Youth Challenge Series tournaments in the past. Hasn't lost a match yet on TV on our Time Warner Cable SportsChannel telecast, so I'm sure he doesn't want to make today the first day of that happening. And he's got 1 300 under his belt and an 823 series. Not too bad at 17 years of age. Well, Tyler Sheehy now can take advantage of that open for Team Olivo. His teammate Chad Dempsey just put up a strike in the second frame, looking to get a double here.
And Tyler's favorite bowler, Chris Barnes. And that's probably a lot of players' favorite player.
No doubt. The style that Chris has is just easy going. You know he can go a lot of games in a day without putting too much stress on his body.
Yeah, Chris is going to be around a long time, and I'd classify him as a power stroker. But, you know, he keeps a tight thumb, so you know he doesn't squeeze it or grab it at the bottom. And he's actually very, very knowledgeable player. And does a lot of work with the kids and youth bowlers.
Absolutely. Just had his Thanksgiving Classic down in the Dallas area recently, beginning of December. A lot of bowlers down in the southwest part of the country make their way to Dallas for that event. Scott Erickson makes a little bit of a line change and tightens things up a little bit.
Yeah, no late 7-10 on that shot. 10 back. Ball split the 8-9.
I want to thank Castellanes, the Yanko family, for all their support over the years. And once again, New Year's Eve during the day, if you want to see some great high school bowling, you might see some of these bowlers out there again. Come on down to Castellanes for the Midwinter High School Classic, sponsored this year by Eileen's Bowling Buddy.
Now, one of the bowlers on the bio sheets doesn't give his age, but he does list 35-300 games. These kids aren't old enough to have 35-300 games, so my guess is that's Joe. Yep. And doesn't give his age, but he did begin bowling at age 10, so that's probably about 65 years of bowling, Joe, would you say?
Oh, he's probably got 65 years of experience in a 54-year-old body. Come on.
Just kidding, Joe.
But he's going to need to use some of that experience he's got to figure out why he's not taking the 10-pin out. He's got his team in the lead right now, but something tells me it's going to take a lot more strikes after the commercial break to stay in the lead. Joe Olivo covers it up nicely. Join Joe Sarra and I back from AMF Bowlero in just a moment for the rest of this championship match.
Join Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, Dwight Albrecht, and Phil Brilo as they discuss the PBA Tour and highlights of local bowling on the Spare Time Bowling Show Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP.
Some of the fans still left their Savannah Jerome, her dad, checking out the cell phones while we were in the commercial break there. Now we're back to action with Tyler Kurz taking care of the fifth frame for Team Erickson here. He struck on his second frame attempt. Very tall and lean.
Streamwood, Illinois. Isn't there a PBA player from Streamwood, Illinois?
I'm not exactly sure on that, Joe. You'd have to refresh my memory. If that PBA player throws strikes like that, you'd think I'd know him.
Maybe I'm foreseeing his future.
Could be. Great shot there by Tyler Kurz. Just watch that 5-pin go in and take the 5-7 out without a problem.
And again, that's all done with leverage, not power, but leverage at release point. And Chad does it as well, as you can see. Keeps that elbow under the ball through the release. And as soon as I say that, he leaves a soft 10. But for the most part, his hitting power has been pretty darn good today.
Yeah, it has. Thought that head pin was going to come back across and roll out that 10-pin, but unfortunately for Chad, you watch that head pin a little short on the effort.
Yeah, and that may be a characteristic of the house, characteristic of the pattern that they're playing on, but occasionally we do see the soft 10. We're not seeing a lot of 7-pins on this pattern. We're not seeing solid 8s and 9s, and we're really not seeing a lot of 4-pins.
No, it's the matter of the bowlers are finding a way to make sure they're hitting the pocket either flush or light, but they need to find a way to kick that 10-pin out to get things going. And boy, Brandon's going to be looking to bounce back from his third frame where he left that big split. Looking for a team 3-bagger. Oh my.
Yeah, you know, I'd have to say he throws it better than the other two beyond those, and I'm sure the parents will be glad to hear that because it is their son, but he really does have a solid game.
Oh, absolutely. And you saw Vince and Joey recently at Sunset Bowl when the mixed doubles tournament we had there on a recent Time Warner Cable SportsChannel telecast, and now Brendan looking to get another family member in the winner's circle. Tyler Shee looking to strike and leaves a ripper. 7-10.
Yeah, that was a bad break there, and he threw it well. He might have been a little deeper inside the pattern than he should have been, but it's not like it was a bad shot or bad release. Good pin action, but the pins didn't cooperate knocking one of those down.
Yeah, the 6-pin just laid down in the flat gutter. 5-pin in front of the 7 does no work. The only benefit for Tyler here is that if he does make it, it is a $100 scholarship award from Essential Bowling Concepts. So let her fly here, Tyler. See what happens.
So there is a bright side here.
And
not a bad attempt.
Kicked it over and needed a little help getting it out of the pit into the 7-pin, but unfortunately for him,
in a one-game match, we know opens are deadly.
Well, there you go. Lead swings from Team Olivo to Team Erickson on 2 shots basically out of the commercial break for each team. Scott Erickson looking to get a team 4 in a row for his team. Scott's got 3 Madison area scratch tour victories under his belt and 4 Madison City titles as well. And with that shot, you can see why he's got those titles done, Joey.
Yeah, he smells blood in the water.
So I want to thank his dad, Dave Erickson, who got him started bowling at age 3, and Dave Erickson, a Madison Hall of Famer as well, and I'm sure Scott have his chance at that Madison area Hall of Fame someday soon too. Well, Joe Olivo here made a ball change.
Yes, he did. Went to a tamer ball, a little more length, a little more back-end energy, and a much better look.
You just got to hope right now, at the pace that Team Erickson is going, it's not too little too late for Team Olivo. 4 in a row for Team Erickson and a 23-pin lead.
So our listeners at home listening to our show here wonder why would he go to a weaker ball when his last one hit weak, and it's basically when a strong ball, meaning a sanded ball or with a strong core, looks weak or hits weak, normally a weaker ball will hit stronger.
Yeah, the ball gets to save a little more energy into the back of the lane, save that hitting power for where it's needed, and oh my, what came out and hit that 4-pin out of the gutter had to be the head pin.
Well, you know, he got that wide, but when you have good leverage and technique at the foul line, your room for error increases, and we can see it increase quite a bit there.
Yeah, Tyler Kurz with that big break there on that light hit. Knows he got a little away with that one. 5 in a row for his team. Extends that lead out to 33 pins for Team Erickson. Let's see what Chad Dembski can do here for his team. And another bad break and a light hit.
Yeah, it looked like he tried something a little different there and maybe didn't get it off his hand as cleanly as he wanted. And I believe he had a 10-pin last frame and now a kind of a half 7.
So both teams hitting the pocket pretty much equally right now. Just a matter of Team Erickson's found the way to carry those corner pins out. Team Olivo struggling quite a bit. Right now, 33-pin lead for Team Erickson. If Brandon Biano can strike right here in the 9th frame, it's going to be pretty much game over. Extend that lead out to 43 pins with only a frame left.
Okay, make your mom proud now, Brandon.
So you're taking a little extra time on the approach. Follow through to the left of the face. Oh, that 7-9 was there for a second.
7-9, and that's what happens when you use a Pearl reactive and got some mitt to it. That ball finished awfully deep.
How about that?
And just watch it drive. No deflection. 7-9 was up for a split second.
And a nice bounce back by Brandon after that opening split that he left in the 3rd frame for his team. And with the 2 strikes he's had in the 6th and the 9th frame, team 6 in a row for Team Erickson, basically locking this match out.
Yeah, Brandon rocking the white belt, which a lot of the youngsters tend to do, which we did in our day. That's a pretty good shot right there.
Nice shot by Tyler Sheehy. Bouncing back. Finishing off strong, even though he knows the match probably no longer in doubt. You want to look good. It's like golfing. You want to look good coming up the 18th fairway. Even if you had a bad round, you want to look good throwing that last shot of the game.
Well, you always remember the last shot, it seems.
Well, for Scott Erickson here, just stay behind the foul line, and he's going to captain his team to the Junior Hall of Fame Tournament Championship for 2013. He wasn't happy with that release, but he knows a spare and it's a win.
No, he didn't like that one, but again, good bowlers know when it's good right off the hand, and he sensed it immediately.
Yeah, easy spare for a 4-pin. If he gets this and gets a strike, it's 237. Most that Team Olivo can do right here is 215, so it's game over already. They'll take home that championship title, along with some bowling balls from Hammer Bowling that helped sponsor this tournament, along with the scholarship money. Team Olivo, the young men, will be taking home some bowling balls from Hammer as well, and their scholarship money. And Joe Olivo, I'm telling you, 2 years in a row, 1st place and 2nd place with the bowlers he's had in this tournament. If I'm entering the Junior Hall of Fame tournament next year for the 2014 edition, I'm hoping I get Joe Olivo as my partner if I'm a youth bowler.
Yeah, well, and that's not coincidence. I mean, he evidently gets the kids motivated and makes a lot of good shots along the way, and it's not easy to get into the finals of this.
No, not at all. First year they've had a scratch division here. We had 22 teams in the scratch division. Talked about the handicap division coming out of a commercial break a little while ago. 66 teams in that division, so a little bit, wouldn't say any less of a tougher road for these scratch bowlers, just because the number of teams aren't there. The quality of competition quite high, as you can see by all 4 teams that made the finals. Joe Olivo looking to finish this off, comes up high, gets his team a 192 against Team Erickson's 237. Joe Serra and I will come back from AMF Bowlero in just a moment, and we'll wrap up this year's edition of the Junior Hall of Fame Tournament in just a moment.
Pins for our Essential Bowling Concepts telecast are provided by Great Lakes Bowling, offering services, supplies, and capital equipment to the bowling industry for over 38 years. GreatLakesBowling.com. Eileen's Bowling Buddy, used by high school and college coaches and members of the PBA Tour to train, warm up, and rehab. Get all the information at Eileen'sBowlingBuddy.com. Pick up the latest issue of Wisconsin Bowler Magazine, now available in your local bowling center. If your local center does not carry Wisconsin Bowler Magazine, ask them to. It's free to them and free to you.
Well, Joey, what can you say? A final match, back and forth early on. Kind of thought that Team Erickson was going to fall behind early. Brandon Bianna with that third frame split, but boy, they wasted no time bouncing back and fired off 6 in a row to basically lock up the title before the 10th frame.
Yeah, and a six-bagger is hard to overcome when you, especially when you're not striking and your opponent's kind of running away.
And then you got Joe Olivo. Once again, another great performance for him on TV. He gets his team into second place today. Last year, his team was the Junior Hall of Fame tournament champions. And as I said at the end of that last match, if I'm a youth bowler entering the 2014 edition of this tournament, I'm hoping I get Joe Olivo in my draft.
Right, yeah. But on the show, I mean, he kind of lost his look for a while. He had a great look to start, and transition can rear its ugly head and make anyone look a little bit lost.
Well, another great televised tournament thanks to our friends at Time Warner Cable SportsChannel. Next tournament coming up, Joey, is the 2013 Wisconsin Women's Open from Classic Lanes in Greenfield. Gina Dereshevsky, our great host there, and lots of great women from Wisconsin, Illinois coming up to shoot for the $800 first place prize.
And those ladies can light them up.
Roxanne George, our defending champion, sure we'll see her there, and probably see some new faces as well. So join us from Classic Lanes Greenfield for that show. For my friend Joey Serrar at Bowlers Pro Shop and above180.com, I'm Phil Brylo, and parents take the kids bowling. They'll have fun for life. We'll see you next time from Classic Lanes in Greenfield.